Next topic, we're going to be estimating decimal quotients. And this is very much like work we did earlier when we were using whole numbers. It is simply using decimals instead. And the key to kids being successful on this part is really paying attention to the units we're using. And then the rest of it will seem very much like what we've done before. So we take a problem like this, 63 6/10 divided by 70. And again, when we're estimating, we're thinking, gee, what's a multiple of 7 that might be over here? And I see that 63 there, so I would round this to 63, and I would divide this by 70. Now, just as we showed you before, this is the same thing. Since 70 is 7 times 10, we can divide by either one of those parts first. It doesn't matter which one. We could take 63 and divide it by 10 first, making that 6 3/10. And then we could divide that by 7. And this is where the units come in. We want to think about that as 63/10 divided by 7. And 63/10 divided by 7 would be 9/10. You could do it the other way too. You could decompose it the other way and say 63 divided by 7 first, which is 9, and then 9 divided by 10 would be 9/10. Just move it over one place to the right. It doesn't matter which way you start, but you need to divide by both parts of the number, the 7 and the 10. So, again, we're just trying to get an estimate. Right now, we're not doing the actual division. Here's another problem. 111 72/100 divided by 42. And again, I want to start here and round that off, and I would round it off to 40, so that's real easy. And then I would think about my multiples of 4, 4, 8, 12, that's really close to this, and I just round that whole thing off to 12. It's close in the whole numbers to that, and it's nice and easy to work with 4. Again, I can decompose this into 4 times 10, and it doesn't matter which one I start with, I just have to keep the units in mind. 12 divided by 10 would give me 12/10. And that divided by 4, 12/10 divided by 4 is 3/10. Got to put my decimal in. Or 12 divided by 4 is 3, and then 3 divided by 10 is 3/10. Either way, we're going to get to 3/10, and again, that is an estimate. This is about 3/10 here, and that's all we're trying to help kids to do. Now here's a classic word problem that would go along with estimating decimal quotients. Ed bikes to and from school. He logs 389 2/10 miles in 28 school days. About how many miles did he ride in a day? We know it's an estimating problem because it just wants to know about how many. And then there's a second part of the problem, but I just want to solve the first one first. Let me start there. So of course, to find out what he did in one day, we're going to have to take the total number of miles and divide by how many days there were. So we do that, 389.2 divided by 28. Again, I'm going to round this number off to 30. I'm going to think, what's a multiple of 3 that would go into this right here? And I might think, 3, well, I could round this off to 300. Gosh, 300 isn't very close to 389. Maybe I can go further. 10 threes is 30. 11 threes is 33. 12 threes is 36. 13 threes is 39. That's very close. I'm going to round that off to 390. Divide each by 10 and get an answer of 13. That's the kind of reasoning we want kids to do. If they round that off to 300, that's not bad, but their estimate will be pretty far away. We really want them to think to get as close as they can, quickly. Now, so the answer to this question would be, how many miles did he ride in a day? About 13 miles each day. Now, let's answer the second question. About how many more days will he have to ride to reach 500 miles? Well, I don't know how many miles he's got to go yet. So let's see, 500 minus the 300, I'm just going to round it off to 390. And that gives me 110 miles left. And he's doing about 13 miles a day. I'm going to round that off to 10 and do 110 divided by 10 miles a day. Divide by 10 on each side. That's going to be about 11 days. He'll need to ride about 11 more days to get to 500 miles. And again, these are problems that require kids to just estimate. We don't always need a precise answer. Many times we just need an estimate.